What? Okay, what do you want to debate about?
You know?
Shut the fuck up. I didn't duck you for shit. I don't even know who the fuck you are. What do you want?
Well, I want to debate. We could debate strategy.
Okay.
I think you support third parties. You support. You're against the squad, right?
Yeah.
And you also are 100% against the Democrats, right?
Yeah.
So why would you be against the Democrats if right-to-work laws are being taken down by Democrats
Where are they being taken down?
all across the country, multiple states, New York, California?
Give examples, concrete ones.
What do you mean examples?
First of all, who passed right to
law.
work in New York?
The Republicans passed the right-to-work laws.
When were the Republicans in power in New York again?
Well, no, the right-to-work laws were initially passed by the Democrats until the party switched.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So there you go.
Right. When they were a right-wing party.
When were the Democrats a right-wing party?
There was a party switch.
Okay, so in New York, the Democrats had not yet switched and passed the right-to-work laws.
What do you realize that right-to-work laws are a Republican policy, right? And the Democrats
but you just said they were passed by Democrats.
Right, before the party switch. Do you understand the alignment?
Do you know what year it was?
Do you understand the alignment when Lyndon B. Johnson said that when he passed the Poverty Act?
What is the date in which the right to work law was repealed in New York?
Which law?
The right to work law. When was it repealed in New York?
I don't know. Why would I know the exact date?
Can you give me examples of Democrats repealing the right to work law? I'm not denying it. I just want to get to the actual examples so we can analyze them.
All right, you want to go to New York as an example? Because that's my...
that's what I'm asking you is, can you give me the date in New York so I can actually analyze what happened?
Yeah, but that's going back decades. There's not going to be like an archive of it.
Go ahead, and I don't know. 1991. Okay. Right to work.
Right.
It's from my chat. New York, 1991.
Right. So you would be in favor of that, right? Getting rid of right to work laws, those are bad, right?
Hold on. Before we get there, I have to know when right to work was eliminated in New York.
Okay.
Okay, there's the Taft-Hartley Act, which is a federal act. So I'm looking for... Is there any information about New York passing or repealing a right-to-work law? Because the political realignment happened during the Civil Rights era or during the Reagan era, right? At the latest. So it's like... but that was only in the South. So in New York, the Democrats were the Democrats as we know them for a very long time. I don't think there was ever a point in New York where the Democrats were like the Southern Democrats, right? They were progressive Democrats in New York, always.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you referenced the Civil Rights Act, right? The Civil Rights. Martin Luther King supported against right-to-work laws as well, and in favor of the Democrats. So you would be against that too?
Okay, let's just save time and hypothetically address the point you're trying to bring up. Okay. Let's say I oppose right-to-work laws. I actually think that's not even something we should be focusing on right now. Because it's not essential.
I agree, I'm just saying it's an
But let's just say I'm against them. And now the Democrats are also against them. Well, in many cases, the Republicans are against war with Russia. And I'm against war with Russia. So, should I support the Republicans? There's examples of policies. There's examples of policies the Republicans support that I support. I support eliminating vaccine mandates. And there's a lot of other things Republicans support.
Right, but is that the focus? Would you put all your focus on mandates?
I wouldn't put my focus on right-to-work laws either.
Right, but mandates just seem like more of a non-issue.
The thing that is actually driving like the biggest political wedge in this country right now is a non-issue.
It shouldn't be an issue.
Okay,
but it is.
that's okay. Saying it shouldn't be an issue, according to you, is very different from saying it's not an issue.
Well, of course it's an issue. That's why I'm talking about it.
Which party's in power in New York right now?
The Democrats, of course.
How popular are the mandates instituted in New York? What is the level and scale of resistance against them in New York?
Well, there's not really when we're talking about mandates, there's not much of a mandate system in New York, but the mandates that do exist are favorable, not that favorable. They pull it around 60%.
So what is the extent of resistance against them in New York?
There's a sizable amount of resistance, just not as much as other states.
Really? There's not as much resistance in New York as other states when there's literally more there's more demonstrations and shit in New York.
Right, but it's a very
than anywhere else, because in New York
though,
the mandates are the fucking harshest.
That's not true.
Where are the mandates the harshest?
Citywide, I mean, San Francisco has harder policies than New York does.
Okay.
And also, New York itself doesn't have really mandates. It's
so you just named another liberal Democrat city. So is New York among the harshest mandate policies relative to other places? Okay, so is that part of the reason why there's such a proportionate level of resistance against them?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So
what point? So what is your point? There's examples of Republican things that Republicans are in favor of that I'm in favor of.
Right. But they're also against all your economic interests and worker interests.
No,
so
that's
why would
not
you
true.
be against
That's
if you're a Marxist,
actually
you should
not
be
true.
for that.
That's not true at all.
Lower taxes, lower regulation, less protections, appealing environmental regulations.
That's not true. That's the pre-Trump Republican Party. There's a populist turn in the Republican Party.
No, there
that's
isn't.
more protectionistic. Yes, it is.
Protectionist is not the same thing as upholding lower taxes, lower regulations.
Taxes
and
don't really matter that much. I'm gonna just be honest with you. They don't fucking matter that much.
Wait, did you just say taxes don't matter that much?
No, they don't.
How do you solve inequality?
I don't give a shit about inequality.
So you're not a Marxist. You're not a Marxist if you don't care about inequality.
Explain.
Wait. So you're a Marxist, right?
Yeah.
And you support inequality.
I don't
in the
care
economic
about
sense.
I don't care about it.
Okay, can you explain that?
Yeah. Inequality is a non-issue.
Well, can you elaborate?
Marxists are concerned with developing the forces of production. We don't care if some people are wealthier than others. We want people to generally be wealthy across the board. So
well, I agree with that, but I'm saying, is there a level of inequality you have an issue with? Like if Jeff Bezos is flying around spaceships while people are barely having enough to eat, you don't think that's an issue?
The issue is that people don't have enough to eat. I could care less what Bezos does in space. That's the truth.
So you just think you're allowed with capitalism while running rampant as long as
I'm
anti-poverty.
I'm against poverty.
But you're supportive of markets, capitalist markets. Is that what you're saying?
We don't have any capitalist markets.
Right, but I'm saying in theory.
We don't have capitalist markets. Capitalist markets are done. They ceased to exist after the 1929. There's no capitalist markets.
It just doesn't make sense how you're saying you support inequality.
Okay, did I say I support it, or did I say I don't give a fuck about it?
It wouldn't. There's no difference between those two.
Inequality
will have. If you don't care about it,
I actually think there is a big difference, because if there was no inequality, I also wouldn't care. So for me to support inequality,
right, but you being neutral allows it to happen and run rampant.
Okay. How?
Well, hypothetically, if you're in control and you say, "I don't care," let's have all our policies not care about inequality.
I would rather be. I'm more interested in generating new wealth than taxing the wealthy that exist now. I'm more interested in tapping into the source of how they got their wealth in the first place and allowing other people to have the opportunity to tap into that wealth. So, if, like, I don't know what are you saying.
That's a long term. That's a long term. You're talking about 10, 20, 30 years down the road for what you're saying. A short-term solution is to reallocate wealth.
Who's going to reallocate wealth?
The state.
Our state, the American government?
Right.
Does it do a good job of allocating anything?
Not particularly.
No, it doesn't. So,
but if we're talking about short-term solutions,
how does that address the forces of production? How does that address like how the economy actually works and how it functions? It doesn't address any of that.
If you put those monies into social programs.
That's such a superficial way of addressing the problem. Okay, we're going to take a snapshot of the economy right now and just transfer wealth from some to others. Okay.
Right.
Where did the wealth come from? Are you addressing that? Where did the wealth in the first place come from?
It's being taken by people's labor. That's where all the wealth comes from.
Be more specific, please, because you need to be more specific.
What do you mean by specific?
It's coming from the development of the forces of production.
Right. But
so
I just don't
if you want to solve poverty, you increase the forces of production. You increase the general wealth of the economy through restructuring the economy, through breaking monopolies that's caused the economy to stagnate. And that's how it works. Where did you get this idea that inequality...
How do you break monopolies without breaking Wall Street and the capitalists?
That is a side effect. You do break them. That's what class war is about.
But you're not going to break them with the Republican Party.
No, you're not.
So you said you would vote Republican because of mandates. This makes no sense. Why would you support the Republicans? Because you like one or two policies.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 19.
Are you sure you didn't add like 4 years?
No.
Yeah,
I know you're pivoting because you got nervous.
I'm asking what your age is because it's very clear to me that you're letting your enthusiasm cloud your ability to actually interpret what I said. And what I said was, by your logic, I should be supporting the Republicans. I didn't say I supported them because of mandates. I said...
No, you said because of they don't want to go to war with Russia and mandates. You would rather be a Republican.
Okay.
Right?
Hold on. So, you sure you're 19?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to walk you through this slowly, and I'm going to... You interrupt me, I'm going to have to mute you. So I'm going to walk you through it slowly, right? It's actually pretty simple. You said I should be supporting the Democrats. I said, hypothetically, let's say the Democrats are against right-to-work laws and they're repealing them. And that I'm against right-to-work laws and repealing them. That is no more an argument in favor of me supporting the Democrats than an argument in favor of me supporting the Republicans because they also do things I agree with. And that is literally the extent of what I said.
Right, but you think there's a difference between the levels of how damaging right-to-work laws are to the working class versus vaccine mandates?
I think vaccine mandates are significantly worse.
You have to get a medical procedure to go into work? That's what you're taking issue with?
Vaccine mandates and lockdowns kill businesses, kill professions, kill the economy.
Well, you just pivoted
in an atmosphere. They're part of the same thing. In an atmosphere of widespread distrust in the establishment, people don't want to be
establishment. Wait, so should people vote for third party?
I don't advocate for anyone to vote for anything. You're not going to see me tell people to vote at all. Right
but
now.
you've advocated for third parties, correct?
For a third party.
Right. Which is impossible.
Which is something I'm actively working on building.
50 years, 100 years, how long?
Are you my boss? Do I have to answer to you? Like, who the fuck are you?
Well, you're making nonsensical statements, right?
I am actively working...
people need help now, and you're saying, well, let's just wait 20, 30 years to build up something, and then maybe we can help
You're not helping anyone.
Helping people now.
You're not helping anyone right now. Who are you helping right now as an individual? Who are you helping?
Well, I mean, you're yelling into your microphone, so you're not helping anyone either.
So who are you helping? Okay. Then I'm going to quit streaming and just work for a soup kitchen. I will help vastly...
you should do that, yeah.
Yeah, I will help vastly more people in the immediate sense working at a soup kitchen. By your logic... No one should be caring about politics at all. We should just be focused on charity because that provides the most immediate relief to people suffering possible.
What is this pivot, dude? You're like flailing all over the place. I just don't understand why you take this position. If the Democrats are doing more for the working class, support the Democrats. It's that simple.
They're not doing more for the working class. Democrats.
So right-to-work laws are not doing damage
under
to the
whose
working class.
administration was NAFTA passed?
I believe that was Clinton.
What party did Clinton belong to?
The Democrats.
What was the effect NAFTA had on the working class?
Not great.
What would you say that's an understatement? Wouldn't it be more like it kind of decimated the working class?
I think that's an exaggeration.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't think that that's the most important thing to the working class. I think giving people the basic needs.
Do you not
to
know a
fulfill them.
goddamn thing about the history of this country? That wasn't among the most important events that decimated the jobs that the working class were used to and led to the complete decimation of whole communities, cities, and ways of life? You don't think that's a big deal?
No, it's a big deal. I'm against NAFTA and the
Okay,
TPP.
sure, but who passed NAFTA?
Democrats. As opposed to the but you'd rather have the Republicans, is what you're saying in that case.
Is that what I said?
I'm asking.
What? So you're saying I personally can only choose between the Democrats and Republicans?
Realistically, yes.
So what if I said suck my nuts?
Well, you can let the Republicans pass the horrible things like fracking in Alaska. I mean, you want fracking all over the place, abortion bans all over the place, right?
Okay, I'm going to explain it to you like this.
Or you can get killed in Florida.
Okay, sure.
That's also
I'll explain it to you like this. So you have a wife and a foreign soldier comes and wants to take your wife one way. Another soldier who is a completely different guy, but he's a little more gentle, wants to take her another way. Does a man shake hands with the soldier who wants to take his wife, or...
Are you kidding? Is this the analogy you're going to do?
Yeah, it is. It is.
This is nonsense. The Democrats have done so much for the working class, and you do not want to say that.
What have they done?
I just told you, right-to-work laws being repealed.
How has that materially helped the working class?
Unionization, giving people leverage, giving people benefits, giving people higher wages.
Okay, so the Democrats have
objective.
led. Okay, so the Democrats.
Wait, do you disagree with that?
The Democrats have led to significant levels of increased unionization. Then, right?
Right.
Do you have any?
Which is incredibly important.
Do you have any statistics to back that up? Because it's actually not
absolutely.
Because I can show you evidence to the contrary that unionization has gone down significantly.
Well, of course it's gone down significantly, but it's much higher in states that don't have right-to-work laws. It's gone down everywhere.
Yeah, it's gone down significantly.
But it's gone down less in states that don't have right-to-work laws.
Which means existing unions have retained their power. But those aren't new unions that address...
How are you going to build unionization when the Republicans are declaring war on unions all over the place?
No one's building unionization in Democrat states either.
That's nonsense.
But it's true. The unionization, there's not...
That's total nonsense. Do you want to go to the statistics on that?
Yeah.
Unionization, blue versus red states. We can go through it.
New unionization, yeah.
Most unionized states.
No, new unionization, not most unionized states. I'm not talking about the legacy unions.
I know you want to pivot again, but we can do that
No, because we're not talking about the legacy unions from the 20th century. We're talking about the new unions.
Oh, look. So the highest unionization rates now, like, is expanding, is Hawaii and New York. Both Democrat states.
Okay.
And also, then you have South Carolina.
Can you link that to me so I can look at the statistics and look at what we're looking at?
Yeah. So then we can know you're wrong. Okay,
no, I want to know by how much is it increasing and where is it increasing? What sectors of the economy is it increasing in? Are those working class sectors or professional managerial sectors? All those things matter.
Yeah. So are you like flailing with pivoting again?
So it seems like
just
you have this
article.
Hey, it seems like there's this pattern with you. It seems like there's this pattern with you where every time you lose an argument, you just accuse me of pivoting.
No, I mean, you stopped doing the performative masculinity thing, which is interesting.
Because you are...
I don't know if you're nervous because you're actually being called out on evidence.
No, it's mainly because I think you're 16 years old.
Well, I mean, you've debated other young people in the past, right? I mean, I guess when you're not talking about Vosh or Destiny, you have
By
nothing
the
to say.
way,
But
you're,
okay.
you're hold on, child.
I mean, when you're riding other
Listen,
people's nuts, you know.
kid. You're not having a debate with me. You're being lectured right now, kid.
Yeah, why don't you make a Vosh video? Maybe that'll get you some views, right? Or Destiny video or Hassan video.
Okay.
I mean, from the looks of it, your channel's suffering, but you know, just look at the evidence I put in the chat, general chat.
Hold on. If my
Go to
channel
general chat.
if my channel starts to significantly increase in success, what will you give me?
Nothing.
You just
don't deserve
laughed.
it.
You just laughed about my channel suffering. So when
Your
my
channel's
channel
suffering.
So when my channel starts to
It's suffering, man.
So when my channel starts to thrive significantly, what will you say then?
I'll try to get it taken down, maybe.
How will you do that?
I don't know. I'll hire a team of expert aliens to strike at your headquarters, and then we'll make sure that you stop promoting garbage like Marxist-Leninism, which has killed millions of people. But okay.
Are you 14 years old?
No, I'm 19.
Oh.
So I want to know, when you lied about Taiwan, right? When you lied
Yeah.
about that, do you feel bad about that at all? You still feel bad about that?
Why are you pivoting to Taiwan?
Well, you ignored the article I posted, so I figured you were just, and you were
What
just
article?
insulting.
Where did
so
you
I figured
post
you
the
were
article?
done. In general.
Where did you post it?
In general.
Yeah, you're supposed to put
Hello,
it in
general.
fact-checking. You're supposed to post it in fact-checking, child.
Yes, more rules. You love rules, don't you?
Don't you have some homework to finish, kid? Finish.
Well,
Why don't you finish?
Listen,
before you have this attitude with me, please finish Algebra 2, okay?
Okay, my son. Okay, my son.
Anyway, the union membership rate of public sector workers continue to be more than 5 times higher than the rate of private sector workers. So what is the relevant part that I'm looking for here? New unionizations, where? This is talking about legacy unions. I want to know about new unions.
Well, all those states are Democrat states where those highest unionization rates.
Okay, but what about new unionization, not legacy unions that are from the 20th century?
It's a very long thing. I'm sure you can find it in there.
Well, you seem to have already found it, so just tell me where it is.
Okay, yeah, so it's showing from 2020 to 2021, but this isn't saying by state.
Listen,
It's saying by
2020
race.
to 2021 is the amount of existing unionization, not the amount of new unionization of previously ununionized workers.
Right.
Right. So what that means is that this isn't evidence of what I was asking for.
Why do you just guess? Every time you get scared, you raise your voice. What is that? Just read the article, bro. I just gave you the evidence, and you're not reading it.
There is no evidence in here as far as I can see.
It just says Hawaii and New York, the Democrats' states.
Of existing legacy unions.
So why does that matter if it's legacy unions or not?
Because new unionization would indicate that Democrats are helping the working class.
New York has been Democrats since its inception.
So how is the working class thriving in New York when only a minority of workers who belong to legacy unions from the 20th century, which are very corrupt, very bureaucratic, and many can even argue harm workers by stagnating the forces of production? How does that help the working class?
I'm not saying that helps the working class.
Are people doing better in Texas or New York right now, the working class?
New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at
Right,
the
so you're wrong about that
Texas
too. But okay.
and New York. Why are so many people moving to Texas as opposed to New York? You would think that people would migrate to the prosperous and thriving state of New York as opposed to Texas.
Right, well, capitalists want to exploit cheap labor.
But the people who are moving to Texas are coming from Democrat states like New York and California.
Right, because they're being offered jobs there.
So why isn't New York able to provide enough jobs for its working class?
Because de Blasio ruined the city.
Was de Blasio a Democrat or a Republican?
Democrat. Which is why I support progressives in the Democratic Party.
I can make the exact same argument you just made against me about third parties for progressives.
Except it's viable. Progressives are viable, and third
oh,
parties
really?
aren't.
How have progressives proven to be viable at all? Give me examples of that.
Well, we got Build Back Better passed. Or not Build Back Better, the
No, you didn't.
infrastructure.
The infrastructure bill doesn't have a progressive agenda. It's just a very bare bones infrastructure bill, which was outsourced to private companies. And in all likelihood, that infrastructure bill isn't going to lead to a revitalization of infrastructure.
But they're also outnumbered
it's
like
money
10 to 1.
funneled.
What are you talking about?
It's money funneled to private corporations. They're probably not even going to spend it efficiently. So what
they're also
about
outnumbered like 100 to 1?
So that makes it not viable according to your logic. Why should we wait for the progressives when people are suffering now? Why are you risking the Republicans winning by backing these unpopular progressives? Don't you know Joe Manchin? So you support Republicans in West Virginia?
No.
So do you support Joe Manchin?
Of course not.
Then you support Republicans in West Virginia.
I support what's best for people now.
Then
not
support
for 30
Joe
years
Manchin because
party,
Joe. Listen,
not for some grift, not for some organization.
Well, guess what? In West Virginia, Joe Manchin has a way better shot than the progressives you're talking about.
Criminal. You support a criminal?
Who do I support?
Right? Joe Manchin.
You support Republicans? Why are you talking bad about a Democrat?
I don't support all Democrats. You think I'm like a subservient to the Democratic Party?
So if you don't support all Democrats, then you must support the Republicans.
No, you support the progressive wing of the Democratic Party,
which is in effect helping the Republicans.
How is that?
Because progressives are not able to win over Republican voters. They've never been proven capable of doing that anywhere.
That's not true.
Really?
That is so not true. Why did you just lie? Why did you just get caught in another lie?
Okay, give me one example.
AOC. AOC was elected by some Republicans too.
Which Republicans elected AOC?
In New York.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me the relevant data. Give me the relevant statistics on that.
Okay. I don't know where I would find that. Where Democrats versus Republicans who voted for AOC.
Well, why did you say that if you don't know it?
Well, I know Republicans voted for AOC.
Was it an amount that indicates she's able to win over a significant amount of the Republican electorate?
Well, what number are you talking about?
I don't care if 1 or 2 people voted for her. Is someone like AOC able to win over the coal miners in West Virginia?
If she was able to appeal to them, yeah. On a working class
line.
Sure.
So let's actually look at the real data we have. So, 23% of Americans overall, regardless of whether they're Republicans or Democrats, have a favorable view of AOC. 36% have an unfavorable view. And there is a negative 13% overall approval rating. 38% haven't heard enough about her.
Why are you guys so obsessed with AOC?
Among Democrats, 47% view her favorably, 7% unfavorably, and 74% of Republicans view her unfavorably. And only 2% view her favorably. So 2% of Republicans view the progressive you gave an example of favorably.
Right. Well, that's just a failure of strategy on the Democrats' side.
Okay, but let's walk back to the original point, which this was about, which was, by supporting these progressives, you're actually harming the Democratic Party and helping the Republicans.
Oh, you're supposed to push them left.
And have you succeeded in doing that?
No, that's why you have to keep fighting for that. What's
So
possible
what's the
now?
difference between what you're doing and what I'm doing?
What you're doing is you're taking people's votes into third parties, which is a failed strategy for the last 100 years. You want to step on the working class. You want to step on people who don't have enough to
step
eat.
on that, step on your mom's
And we know that
ass.
Democrats gave people checks. They gave people things that the people needed. And now they're getting health care in states. But of course, you want to keep lying. Why? You want to know why you keep lying about it? Because really, you're just serving a grift. It's just it's just all a grift, dude.
Trump gave people checks too, but let's walk back what you said.
Well, Trump's also anti-NATO, so.
Which I am as well, and that's why Trump.
Yeah, because you're an idiot who doesn't understand foreign policy. But
oh, I understand it very well. I'm just on the side.
No,
of
I know you don't. It's okay. Well, I don't want to pivot to that because I know you want to run to that.
Sure.
Okay.
We're gonna stay on topic. So you said the difference is that I'm funneling votes away from the Democrats, but aren't you funneling votes away from people like Joe Manchin by supporting progressives?
Of course.
Which in effect helps the Republicans because progressives have no chance. Just like third parties have supposedly never been successful, progressivism has never been successful.
Well, you don't necessarily have to go on a left-wing progressivisism. You can
actually,
do it more
there's more evidence for the success of third parties than progressivism. Yeah?
There's 100. How many people are in the Progressive Caucus? Can you answer that?
When we look at history...
No, answer the question. How many people are in the Progressive Caucus?
Your mom's ass.
Oh, you're going to run from that, right? How many third parties are elected?
It's not relevant. It's not relevant.
How many? No, it is relevant. You're running from it.
Your mother's fat.
You know you're wrong about it. You know you're wrong about it. You know you're wrong. They see, I just caught you. I just caught you on a line.
Your mother's fat. I just caught you
on a line.
It's not important. Continue.
I know you want to. Why don't you do the performative masculinity?
Continuing.
Why don't you flex to the
I'm
camera
your
too?
Listen, continuing.
You're my son.
I'm your new
you're
father.
You're my son, bitch.
You're my son. I'm your new father.
No, you're my son, bro. Sit down. You're my son.
Your mother's ass is mine.
Created you, bro.
Your mother's
created you in
your mother's ass is mine.
In the beginning, there was the word. In the beginning, there was me, bro. Remember that.
Continuing.
Now read it.
Continuing.
Oh, no, you're not continuing. You're running, but okay.
Yeah, continuing off of what I said. Lincoln's Republican Party was actually a third party. There's plenty of examples of third parties.
250 years ago. Are you really jumping to that? You're really jumping to that hundreds of years ago.
The Bull Moose Party was a third party.
Hundreds of years ago. They're not elected.
But
what is this? This is a ridiculous analogy.
I'm going to wait till you're done soying out so I can calmly explain to you why you're a fucking idiot.
Well, you can keep losing, bro. That's okay.
So the Progressive Party was a third party. They got power.
Nope, wrong.
During the election, really? What's wrong about that?
100% wrong. No, continue. Just keep being wrong.
Go ahead. I stand to be corrected. What's wrong?
The Progressive Party hasn't won anything.
Neither has the Bull Moose Party. Who the chair of the Progressive Party was?
They haven't won anything.
Okay, who is the chair of the Progressive Party?
You want to know why I know they haven't won anything?
Yeah.
Because no one in your chat has ever heard of them either. Right. So continue. Continue on your fake point.
Okay, do you know who chaired the Progressive Party?
Your mom.
Actually, it was Theodore Roosevelt.
Who's a Democrat.
Yeah, but he ran.
Thank you. You just proved my argument. Thank you. Yes, vote for Democrats. You heard everyone. You
Theodore
just heard
Roosevelt.
That. Vote for Teddy Roosevelt, the Democrat. Yes.
Hold on. Theodore Roosevelt was a member of the Progressive Party, and in the election,
and then he stopped grifting, right?
And in the election of 1912, he gained 27% of the vote. That's more than progressives have ever come to. They've never gotten that close.
Wait. Are you becoming a Marxist Bidenist now? Are you supporting a Democrat, Teddy Roosevelt?
Who said anything about...
You just became a Democrat, dude.
Who said anything about supporting anything?
I'll see you at the voting booth, bro. I'll see you at the voting booth. We're going to vote Democrat.
Who said anything about... Who said anything about supporting anything?
You just pointed to Teddy Roosevelt, who's a Democrat.
He was a Republican. When he got to power, he was a Republican.
Yeah, but he was a Democrat, though.
No, he wasn't. He was a fucking Republican.
Bro, look it up. You're just making stuff up at this point, bro. You're
All
shooting
right,
from the hip.
so if I prove to you right now that Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican, will
Let me
you
look it
concede
up.
the entire debate?
Let me look it up. Let me look that up.
Go ahead, look it up.
Oh, look, it says it right here. It's a Democrat. Exactly. I knew I was right. Bro, leave the VC, bro. You lost.
Where does it say that?
You lost.
Can you link it to me?
Bro, it's over.
No,
it's over.
Link
you
it
just
to
lost.
me. Link to me where it says that. Go ahead and link to me where it says that.
It's
please.
over, dude. You're done.
Okay, it's over, but can you go ahead and link it to me where it says that?
Oh, Governor of New York. Governor of New York. And Vice President. Right there.
Roosevelt. We're going to look. Roosevelt emerged as a leader of the Republican Party and became a driving force for the antitrust and progressive policies.
Nah, that's luck. You got lucky on that.
So was he a Republican or a Democrat?
He was in the People's Party.
Was he in
He was in CPUSA.
Okay, so were you wrong about saying he was a Democrat?
No, I was right.
So you're in 10th grade right now, right? So you're probably covering US...
No, I'm in your mom's ass.
Did you take civics yet? In high school?
How many drinks have you had today? Can I see your driver's license? Do you have any weapons on you?
The difference is that I actually have a driver's license, and the only form of identification you have is your birth certificate.
Right, well, I'm like you failed to get girls in LA. Maybe you're doing good now, though, right?
Who said I failed?
I mean, I know you failed, right? They're like, oh, I don't have enough subscribers. You said, oh, girls in LA don't see my subscribers. They're like, I'm not impressed by that. You even admitted it, bro. To Destiny. You embarrassed yourself.
Do you think that if you think that...
get your subscribers up, bro. You're my son. Get your viewers up.
Hold on. Are you trying to say that if every girl does not fuck you in LA, that means you get nothing?
Well, you didn't. No girl fucked you, bro. Name one. Show me one contact right now on your phone.
Yeah, let me just
Show me one contact, pussy. You can't.
Sure, yeah. I'll just dox a bunch of people.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
That's what I thought.
Anyway,
what were we talking about? What were we losing about this time? I forgot.
I think it was about whether Teddy Roosevelt was a Democrat or a Republican.
Oh yeah, when he was in the People's Party and he won all those elections. Yeah.
He started the third party, which actually got 27% of the vote.
And then he went into what? Wait, he went into what of two parties? He went to a what party? What was it?
The Republican Party.
Oh, so that's one of the two parties, right? But I thought you said vote third party. So your argument just failed.
I will explain to you the.
So you just collapsed again.
I gotta mute him. He doesn't know how to speak. So we'll mute him. And so yeah. So this kid is too excited. So very briefly, what I said specifically was that third parties are historically more successful than progressives. Because while third parties have not gained power in a very long time at the presidential level, they have won significantly more portions of the electorate than any progressive candidate ever has. And that alone is a test of more victory. I mean, they've proven more influential in shaping the prerogatives of parties. The People's Party significantly shaped the Democrats' agenda under the New Deal and beyond. So third parties are historically far more successful than progressives and the squad. So your argument that we should be supporting progressives as opposed to trying to build a third party is plainly wrong. There you go.
Yeah, are you done boring your chat with your lecture so we can continue?
So you just heard my argument. Do you have a response?
Nah, I was just drinking some lemonade. I didn't hear anything you said.
Well, that's okay because the audience heard it.
Anyways, what else do you want to talk about? You not getting girls in LA? You bullying people in a club or something?
I think you're going to end up like one of those guys at the club that looks toward people like me for guidance.
Yeah, you said you were bullying people in the club. Like, why are you trying so hard to be tough, bro? Like, you're my son, bro. Like, learn from me. Learn from the ways, bro. Learn from the ways.
Did you get that from Fortnite?
Are you a drug addict? Have you used heroin by chance?
Did you learn about heroin
Shut the
with
fuck up, bro.
Did you learn about heroin and
How many are you gonna win in the People's Party? Why don't you run? Why don't you run in the People's Party?
did you learn about heroin during recess the other day?
No,
Did your friends
you
tell
want
you
to try
about it?
some? You want to try some? I'll
Hey
give you
man,
some.
I heard about this thing called heroin, and it's like
Yeah, bro, come here.
people
Come here.
get
I'll give you
addicted
some.
to it, and oh my god, and it's like it's so
Infrared, roll up
cool.
your arm. Infrared, roll up your arm right now. Oh, you got a tank top on. Just give me your arm right now. I'll show you.
So I thought you wanted to debate. What happened?
Well, I know you panicked and then you muted me. So, what else do you want to debate about?
So you finished.
Why are you stuttering? Calm down.
So you finished the debate we
I'm
just
stuttering.
had. You lost it.
Well, you just going into a lecture. I mean, if you mute someone, you win, right?
Well,
So.
the reason I have to lecture about this is because you're a child.
I mean, you're boring your chat with your lectures, bro. No one cares, bro. Go to school. Go be a school teacher with that. No one gives a fuck, bro.
I probably
talk
could.
about
I
People's Party?
probably could be your school teacher. That's the thing.
Well, no, you're my son, bro. Remember
Thank
that?
you,
1999.
Hux.
I
Appreciate
created
you. Thank you, Hux. Why are you so nervous right now? Your voice is like trembling.
Who's nervous, bro? Who's nervous?
But your voice
You
is
had to
trembling.
mute me. You had to mute me. If anything, that makes you the nervous one. Because you know I'm going to catch you on every point.
Go catch me, please.
I caught you on the Republicans. You support deregulating the environment. You support more Wall Street. You support you support right to work laws, all those things, right? So you're a Republican. That's what you are. That's why you guys are right-wing grifters.
I don't think
100%.
children should be allowed on the internet.
100%. You're 100% right-wing grifter.
I don't think children should be allowed to have political views. That's just my view. I think you have to be at least 21 to talk about politics.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing that all the whole time and still losing, right? So, I mean, you lost to a child. Does that make you feel good? Or not a child, but almost.
Go ahead and break down how I lost.
Well, you were flailed the whole time. You talked about third parties, even though they never won. Then you had to go back 200 years ago. Then we had to pull up all these articles, which all proved you were wrong. And
When have
then you just
progressives
said,
won?
well, you know.
Hold on.
He won 200 years ago.
When
So.
have progressives won?
Huh?
When have progressives won?
Progressives Party or the Progressives and Democrats?
Progressives. When have they won on anything?
They won a lot.
Like what?
So much. They've won so much. Like, I can't even count how much they've won.
Please name one thing they won.
Look at Ilhan Omar. Look at all the bills she's passed.
What
She's
is
saving
she-
America. Ilhan
what-
Omar is saving America.
How is she saving America?
Honestly, she should be president in 2028. Like, I think she's gonna.
How is she saving
new-
America? Please go ahead.
She's saving America because she's getting on the right-wing Trumpers and she's taking them on in bravery.
You give me examples, please.
You want to pull up individual things?
Yeah.
Okay. Ilhan Omar bills. Look at all these great bills. Look at all these great bills. Protecting Immigrants from Legal Exploitation Act. Is that a good thing?
Let's look at it. Protecting immigrants from legal
This
exploitation.
access to birth
$5.
control.
Hold on.
Ask him how many people mock
wanna
him
go to
around
this
the
one?
ruins of guild.
So this was a bill introduced into the House.
Right.
And what happened to it?
Well, it was introduced in 2021, so it hasn't gone anywhere yet.
You think it's going to pass the Senate?
The Senate? I would, yeah, definitely gonna pass the Senate. 100%.
What has she actually passed though? Because we're just going to speculate about whether that's going to pass or not.
So you're talking, well, we're talking about what she supports, right?
No, I'm not, because I can support your mother's ass, and it's still
Well,
not
you
big
can
enough.
lose too.
It's still not big enough to suit my
Yeah.
taste.
Well,
But-
you don't have
so,
any.
so my support doesn't mean anything.
LA.
My support doesn't mean anything. So
Right.
what have they actually done?
Ilhan Omar. You want me to just go through the bills she's passed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, all of them were either introduced or in committee.
So she actually got nothing done.
No.
What has she gotten done?
It's in progress.
What has she been successful in getting done?
She's still been pushing bills.
What has she been successful? I've been pushing your mom's ass. I still can't bust
you've been losing. Yeah, we know.
I've been pushing through your mom's ass. I still haven't.
By the way, why weren't you yelling at Destiny even though in real life? That was kind of embarrassing, wasn't it?
Why aren't I yelling at you right now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you usually yell, so you got nervous, I guess. It's okay, buddy.
Did I
listen, bro? One day you can be like me. One day you can be like me. It's okay.
One day you can give me an example of progressives being successful at anything?
The progressives are saving America, and soon, you know what's gonna happen? The Trump supporters on January 6th are gonna be indicted, and they're gonna be all of them are going to prison, right?
Oh no!
And that's gonna save America.
So let's talk about January 6th.
Right, the white supremacist attack on the Capitol. You support that, right?
Was it like this super dangerous, horrible thing?
Yeah, it was.
So who did the white supremacists end up murdering?
Well, they were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence."
Oh.
They were trying to kill him. They were trying to kill the vice president. You don't care about that, right?
Oh, they were trying to kill Mike Pence?
Oh, you don't care about that, right?
Were they trying to kill him?
They were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence," and they were charging after him. You don't think they were?
What?
Don't get nervous. Answer.
No, I don't.
They were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence."
I don't think I don't think they were charging at Mike Pence.
Oh, they were just. Were they just trolling? Were they like trolling Mike Pence? Like, bro, we're gonna kill you, but we're not going to. Is that what you're saying?
Do you support Mike Pence?
I don't think he should be killed, executed.
So, in what way did?
Wait, do you? Wait. Do you?
No, but.
Okay.
In what material way were the protesters threatening Mike Pence's life? Like, how were they charging at him? And
yeah, and they were shouting, "Hey, Mike Pence."
Can you show me the video footage of Mike Pence running from the protesters?
I'm saying they were looking for him, and they were shouting, "Hey, Mike Pence."
I was looking for.
I was 300 feet away.
I was looking for your mom's ass. That doesn't mean I could find it.
Right. Well, I know you're gonna defend white supremacy. That's what you do on this channel, right?
Can you give me an example of how the protesters were all white supremacists or mostly white supremacists?
Oh, they were 100%. The Nazis showed up. The fascists showed up.
Yeah, they show up to anything they feel like they can co-opt. But did the majority or even a significant portion of those protesters align with them?
Well, not the radical factions, but most of them were white supremacists because Trump ran on against immigration and preserving a white majority.
Oh, okay.
So Trump supporters are mostly white supremacists.
So first of all, where did Trump talk about a white majority?
The Muslim ban, the immigration reforms, all of that is supposed to preserve
a white majority. I'm waiting for the white majority part.
That's what that does. Those policies are for to exclude people of color.
Sure. So
you're Arab. You support the Muslim ban?
So I can name you.
Wait, what? You just collapsed again.
I can name you a number of black South African politicians who are fervently anti-immigrant and don't want immigrants from Nigeria and Zimbabwe to come to South Africa. Are they trying to preserve the white majority in South Africa? Or the white minority?
South Africans are often racist too.
But they're black. So they're being racist against other...
Yeah,
are they being racist? So are they being racist against other black people?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that the reasons why people oppose immigration can be beyond race?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that race plays a major or minor factor in anti-immigration sentiment?
Major. 100% major.
Oh, really? So
Poland, Hungary, all of Europe, really.
Yeah.
The United States, Canada.
So it's not about jobs, it's about race.
Jobs are part of it, but it's mostly race.
Okay, so why aren't there protests by these same people against Indian tech workers that go to Silicon Valley?
Because they're not coming to America in the same way that Hispanics are through Mexico.
What's the difference?
The size.
Okay, I think you're missing the point that Trump's
you're just pivoting again, but you can go back to that.
Trump's anti-immigration sentiment was specifically about an economic in nature.
No, that's how they co-opted it. That's not why people voted for him, though.
So why did people voted for him? Just because they're racist, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
And the Democrats are what?
The Democrats are not racist. They're supporting diversity.
What like Joe Biden? He's not a racist, right?
No, he's not. He's saving America. Joe Biden is saving America.
What was Biden's stance on the racist crime bills and segregation bills?
Oh, we're going back to 1994. See, it's another pivot again.
I'm asking you if Joe Biden is a racist.
He's not a racist. He was, and then he changed.
Oh, he changed. I got it.
And he's saving America. You know all the things he's doing? We got Juneteenth as a holiday.
Wow.
And there was also a lot of money given to people.
Just like under Trump.
Nope.
What was the difference?
Biden gave way more money. He also, Trump was cutting, he gave tax cuts and all this stuff that destroyed the economy. I mean, I know you love Trump, but we don't have to pivot to that.
Okay, so were there tax cuts under Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
And
but
what
Trump
part?
did 80% tax cut. He did a crazy bill.
Okay, and why should I care?
Democrats are doing the right thing. I mean, if you look at Joe Biden's policies, he's by 2028, we're going to be in a new America. Joe Biden is restoring the soul to the country, but you're against that because you don't support workers. You support right to work laws.
How have workers benefited materially?
They've benefited greatly, many, many ways. Like I just said.
Name one way.
In which workers haven't benefited. Well, look at. I just mentioned it. I just mentioned. No. We can do that. He also passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
And what has come of that?
We're building roads and bridges that help the working class.
Yeah, nothing's going on.
Oh, no, right?
So the infrastructure bill allocated how much for infrastructure over 10 years?
1.1 trillion.
Wow. Do you know what the federal budget is per year?
Wait, do you have a trillion?
Do you know what the federal budget is every year?
Pretty high.
How much?
$69 trillion.
They didn't teach you this yet in high school?
No, but your mom told me about it.
Annual federal budget is $4.79 trillion.
Yeah, so that sounds good to me.
This is an infrastructure bill over 10 years. So 1.1 divided by 10 is about 100 billion extra a year.
You're struggling with that math, aren't you? Struggling with that math. Took you a while.
So the infrastructure bill, which was bipartisan,
right,
and
it's saving America. It's saving America.
So when a government does the bare minimum of updating its infrastructure, the busy work of just pumping money to upgrade its infrastructure, we should be so grateful for the Democrats.
Yeah,
for that, right?
Because America is the greatest country on earth thanks to the Democrats.
And why should I care about what you just said?
Well, you can care because you're wrong, but
can you?
I mean, if you just look at how America's benefited you. You could be in Libya somewhere, or you could be in Somalia somewhere getting shot, but you're here, sitting and yelling into a microphone for money instead of doing manual labor, right? I think thanks to Democrats.
Why is that thanks to the Democrats?
All of their policies that have saved America. Saved America.
Do you know why I'm here?
Yeah, to yell into a microphone and
no. Do you actually know why I'm? Do you actually know? Do you actually know
why?
Go to
LA and not get girls and yeah, I know you're here.
Do you know why I'm here?
Yeah, I just told you.
So the country that my parents came from, Lebanon, was ravaged by a civil war, in great part because America was supporting the genocidal.
No, it was Hezbollah.
When was Hezbollah founded?
Hezbollah destroyed Lebanon.
When was Hezbollah founded?
I think that was after the Civil War.
Right. So my parents came during the Civil War, which happened in part because the Americans were propping up the genocidal Maronite ruling class.
The Maronites were brave. They're Christians.
Yeah, but they were also genocidal and
That's
excluded
not true.
the majority of the country
No.
from any of the country's wealth.
Those were radical militias. That's not the people. You're gonna attack Christians because of few.
I'm talking about
Maronite Christians are
I'm
good
talking
people.
about the Maronite ruling class.
But you just said Maronites. Those are a lot of people in Lebanon, and they're good people. And they're actually being killed by Hezbollah and terrorists.
Really?
Yeah.
What are
But I know you
examples?
support Hezbollah and you support Iran.
What
you
are
support
examples
Russia,
of
you
what are
support
some
Syria,
examples
you support
of
China?
what are some examples of Hezbollah murdering Maronites?
Oh, well, they definitely killed that journalist. You don't remember that?
Give me the data. Give me the
Well, it's
citation.
not data. It's a article. But
Yeah,
okay.
give me the article where they killed the journalist.
They killed a journalist. Lokman Slim.
Link it.
They murdered a journalist. So you support that, right? Or you support Hezbollah and Iran and Russia?
Give me an give me the article.
That's your geopolitical.
Can you go ahead
right?
and link it?
I did. I mean, you're not looking. I know.
Okay. Lebanese columnist shot and killed. Lokam Slim. His assassination. So here's on Wikipedia. Hezbollah condemned the killing, denied any involvement, and called for an immediate investigation.
Yeah, but it was proven they did it.
How is it proven?
He was a Hezbollah critic. You realize that, right?
Sure. How is it proven Hezbollah killed him?
Well, it's a larger investigation that proved it.
Even if Hezbollah killed him, which is unproven, no, it's never been proven. Did they kill him for being a Maronite or for criticizing them?
Well, for criticizing them, I would just imagine.
So Hezbollah is not, in fact, just killing Maronites.
Well, yeah, but you support Hezbollah.
I will not confirm or deny supporting Hezbollah.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Okay, I don't want to make you nervous about that because you're streaming.
Trust
but we
me,
can go to another topic.
Trust me, I'm not nervous. Anyway, what else were you saying?
Well, I was just talking about largely NATO and how NATO was saving the world too.
How is NATO saving the world?
NATO's defending South Korea. NATO's defending Philippines. NATO's defending Taiwan. Brave Taiwan. I know this is going to take them down in China now. You can't post a stream in China because I said that. But anyways, they also protecting many other people in Europe against Russia.
How is NATO defending South Korea?
The military base is there.
Is it a NATO base or a U.S. base?
Yeah, there's U.S. bases, but there's also NATO bases around with and other ships that protect South Korea. I know you want to pivot to that, but...
Really? Where's the NATO bases in South Korea?
I said there's U.S. bases in South Korea.
No, you didn't. You said it was NATO bases.
Yeah, but there's NATO bases around the area that protect South Korea as well.
Where?
Do you want to go to the NATO bases?
Yeah. You know what? Do you know what NATO stands for?
North American Treaty Alliance or something like that. Let me put in fact check and look. Look at this map.
Can you please tell me what NATO stands?
Look at the map. No. Look at the map.
Where?
I just proved you wrong again.
Yeah, those are U.S. military bases. We're talking about NATO bases.
Yeah, but NATO and American military are basically the same thing.
No, they're actually not. They're actually really not.
Wait, who leads NATO?
The U.S.
Right, you were wrong. Okay, let's go to the next topic.
So, if the U.S. has a military base, that doesn't mean it's a NATO base.
It doesn't matter. You're just doing semantics, bro.
Okay, what continent is South Korea in?
Asia.
And which major sea surrounds South Korea?
South China Sea.
Which major ocean? So it's a tough question. Which major ocean is near South Korea?
Pacific. The Pacific.
What does NATO stand for?
It's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
So why would the North Atlantic Treaty Organization be in South Korea?
Wait, bro. American military does the same thing.
But you said NATO is saving the world.
It doesn't matter. You're just focusing on this one point.
Just like I was
focusing
matter.
on it's literally U.S. Army. It's literally
just
U.S.
like I was
Army
focusing on
Theodore
Theodore Roosevelt and being a...
Oh, bro, well, you're wrong about that too, yeah.
What was I wrong about?
But didn't you say you were having trouble making friends in a club or something today? Like, it's okay. I mean, I know you were lonely in your room. It must be lonely in there.
I don't...
Anyways, what were you saying?
So, I don't think you're old enough to go into any club.
I mean, I know you're lonely in there, man. It looks pretty lonely, yelling into your microphone alone. I mean, there's nobody ever over at your house. Why?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're sure no one's ever over here?
No one's there. Nope.
No one's ever over here?
Nope.
Sure about that?
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, except that Henkel guy, whatever his name is.
He's never stepped foot in here.
Who's like, he's like your, that's like your father, right? Jackson Henkel's your father?
Why is he my father?
Oh, weird. Like, you two are like in love, bro. You two have such a weird relationship. Like, you guys are gonna kiss someday, bro.
Why?
You guys literally take things off of each other. Like, they're both like flexing. You're both saying the same slogans. Like, you literally like copy each other. Hold on.
We're both young men in our 20s, and we flex.
Yeah, no, you're copying each other mannerisms. You're copying each other's slang. It's so weird.
Wow, it's almost like we're good friends and allies.
And infrared, and he's like, infrared is rising. Henkel's like, infrared is rising. Like, bro, he's literally like, that's your boyfriend, bro. When are you gonna propose?
Do you
look how nervous you got? Look how nervous you paused. Why did you pause when I said that? Wait, why'd you pause?
Pause about what?
When I said that.
I just don't think you have any real friends. But anyway.
Okay, let's move to the next point. You don't want to talk about that.
No.
I know you don't want to talk. No. I know you don't want to talk about that. I know you don't want to talk about that.
Wait.
Let's not talk about it.
Since you seem to know a lot about me, you're currently in high school. What about your friends?
I'm in high school, really?
Yeah.
How many 19-year-olds are in high school?
Yeah, but you're not 19.
Can you do the math on that?
We know you're not 19.
Who is we?
Everyone who's watching.
Are you stalking me? Are they stalking me? You have a camera? That's a little creepy, isn't it?
We're very certain you're not 19.
You're certain, right?
So you're in high school.
Well, I mean, you've been obsessed with my age the whole time. It's so weird.
Because you are actually a child.
I don't know why you care about my age so much.
Because you are actually a child.
Well, you can believe that, but I'm 19. Everyone knows I'm 19.
No, I think you're 15.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sam Cedar's been debunking you on the regular.
When?
He's been debunking the People's Party, been debunking anti-squad.
Sure, how did he debunk it?
Because Kevin McCarthy would have been speaker and all these things. It just proves that they're crazy.
Kevin McCarthy would have been speaker?
Yeah. If they did the stupid force to vote thing.
Yeah, but that was disproven.
How was that disproven?
Because it's not true.
How is it not true?
He wouldn't have become speaker.
Yes, he would.
No, he wouldn't have.
Prove it.
It was literally watch the debate between Jackson and Sam.
I watched the debate, and I watched Sam Cedar run circles around him the whole time. And then he soy raged and got muted.
So you don't have a bedtime or homework?
What time is it for you right now?
10.
How lonely is it in the room? Can you like yell? Is anyone gonna say anything? If you yelled right now, would anyone hear you?
You wouldn't know what it's like.
That sounds pretty lonely. That sounds pretty lonely.
You wouldn't know what's that.
That sounds pretty lonely, bro.
You wouldn't know what that's like because.
Are you in a cave somewhere in Lebanon? Are you in a cave?
You wouldn't know
Like,
what
where
that's
are you?
like because you still live with your parents.
Wait, why'd you get closer to the mic? Don't get nervous.
You wouldn't.
It's okay,
You
bro.
wouldn't know what it's like
It's okay,
to live
bro.
alone
Calm
because
down.
you live with your parents.
Listen, my son, calm down. Be still. Like Aang said, be still.
You know what you remind me of? You remind me of a New York kid who loves Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's like what you look up
I
to,
do.
right?
I mean, that is good. Yeah.
Of course. And you're a big Spider-Man fan, and like you
I do like Spider-Man. Yeah.
and you're one of those New York kids that have their phone
Yeah.
and go, "What are
Wait,
those?"
for a second.
Have you
were
ever done
wrong.
that? What are
Wait,
those?
one second. Remember when you were wrong about Maoism too? When you said Maoism isn't violent? Remember when you said that?
When did I say that?
In the debate with Jason Urdu, you said that you don't go out of your way to be violent, which goes against
Yeah.
Maoism.
Yeah,
Mao said that revolution is an act of violence,
it is.
so you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
So you don't want revolution.
No one just wants revolution. It's called voluntarism.
What? Wait, do you want a revolution? Yes or no? I don't get it.
I want your mom's big fat ass.
No, answer the question. Do you
I
want a
want your
revolution?
mom's ass.
No, don't pivot. Don't pivot
I
on
want
this point.
your mom's
Don't
ass.
pivot.
I
Don't pivot.
want
I know
your
you. I
mom's
caught you
ass.
again. I caught you again on this point. I know it. Just answer the question. Do you support
Desire
revolution?
desire is immaterial to what a revolution is.
You said you supported a revolution, but a revolution is a violent.
I don't
according
need
to
to
Mao.
want. Do you want the sun to rise tomorrow?
Yeah.
Does it matter what you want?
No, it's gonna
So
happen anyway.
why do you want it? Doesn't want imply that it's not guaranteed?
You're doing semantics again. Is this like your one like retreating principle? You just run to semantics.
You want the sun to rise tomorrow?
I'm not answering the same question, bro. I rise the sun, bro. When the sun rises, that's because of me. That's why. Remember that. Every time you look at the sun, remember me. Remember New York Democrat. Marxist, Leninist, Bidenist.
You play Minecraft?
Yeah, want to join me?
No. So, just to be clear, you're a high schooler who watches Vosh, right?
No, I hate Vosh.
You're a high schooler who does this on their spare time, right?
Not a high schooler.
What can we infer about your social standing in high school? Like, are you considered a loser or a cool guy?
Oh, I'm not in high school.
That this is what you do in your spare time. If you're not,
Well, I mean, you're a grown man yelling into your microphone for clout chasing. Is that better? Why don't you get a real fucking job instead of sitting in your ass yelling about whatever on Discord?
I get paid to do this.
Yeah, you get paid to sit on your ass and yell on Discord. You're a grown man. Why don't you do manual labor? If you're a real socialist, why don't you do some manual labor? Why don't you be a construction worker?
I'm working.
Why don't you be the proletariat?
I am. I'm working.
You're just LARPing. No, you're just LARPing. You're a LARP.
I'm working.
You're just LARPing about revolution. That you're gonna pick up guns and
shut
fight.
the fuck up for one
You're
second.
a LARP.
Hold on. Do you want to continue saying you're LARPing?
Yeah, you're LARPing.
Say it again. Say it again.
LARP.
Say it again.
You're trying so hard. You're trying so hard to be like, oh, I'm a socialist. I'm a socialist. We're gonna do revolution, even though you're sweating your balls off in your basement, yelling about whatever about destiny.
I didn't quite hear you. So can you say it again another time? Because I don't think we got that. Go ahead and say it again.
Maybe if I say it in Arabic, you'll understand it.
So say it again.
Right?
Say what you just said again, because you said it a few times, but we didn't quite get you. So
said what?
Please,
what did you not get?
Please
what did you not understand? Let me explain it to you. What did you not get?
Yeah.
What do you want me to explain? Hey boy. What do you want me to explain?
You keep interrupting me saying the same thing. What
did you not understand? Let me educate you. What did you not understand?
I didn't hear anything you said. I think you should say it again.
Do you have brain damage?
Yeah, I think you should say it
again. Listen, put your mic closer. Say what? What do you want me to say, boy?
Go
ahead. Don't get nervous. Answer.
I didn't hear it.
What did you not hear? What did you specifically not hear?
I didn't hear any of it.
What is it?
I didn't hear any of it. I heard some noises.
Oh, well, that's your fault. I don't know what to tell you. Your whole chat heard it, remember? The chat heard it.
But to answer what you said, I actually am working I'm working on your mom's big fat ass.
Notice how nobody in your chat laughed at that. That was weak, bro.
Yeah, but
You're really struggling on these
I
jokes today,
am working, aren't I?
man. You're really trying hard today on those jokes, man. You're falling
hold
flat.
on. But you have to admit it's a great deal of work. Now,
I mean, you're dying. I mean, you're dying out here, man.
Listen,
you're dying out here.
it's not.
Listen. I can't get hurt. No one's hearing me.
Thankfully, it's not that much of work because
it's not. Why do you keep stuttering? Is English your second language?
Because I'm bouncing off of it.
It's not.
Because
don't stutter.
Stop
stuttering, bitch. Speak clearly, my son. I taught you how to read. You should be able to read correctly. This is a really productive debate, isn't it?
But your mother didn't teach you to read because she was busy sucking me off.
This is a really productive debate, isn't it?
I don't know. It seemed
we're
like
accomplishing a whole lot here.
You immediately folded when you got a factual detail wrong. Couldn't take the
We
L.
went over detail after detail, and you were flailing on every point. You said, 250 years ago, this one party won 20% of the vote, so therefore we can do third parties.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Even if there was never a third party, does that alone prove third parties are not possible?
No, of course not.
So what proves they're not possible?
I think they're possible. I just don't think they're possible now.
Why not?
Because we need to do things for people now. Substantive things.
So
like infrastructure, like checks, like...
So when will we not have anything to do for people and be able to have a third party?
I draw that line at healthcare.
So as soon as we get universal healthcare, we can have a third party?
Yeah.
So when are we getting universal healthcare?
Well, hopefully soon.
Why are you saying hopefully?
Because I don't know if we're going to get it in the near future.
But you also don't know if third parties are possible.
No, I know they're possible. I just don't think they're possible now.
Yeah, you don't know that they're possible now.
No, I don't think they're possible now.
Why not?
Because I don't think people's lives have been substantially helped enough to where people would be willing to move from the third party, to duopoly.
Why would people start a third party when their lives were helped? Wouldn't they want a third party when their lives aren't being helped?
No, because they'd be at a better economic standing with leverage. Right now they have no leverage.
How? Leverage through what?
Leverage through having more economic status in the capitalist system.
How does that give them more leverage to start a third party?
Because, for instance, the unions would be stronger. They'd be more capable at running a third party.
Unions have never been able to expand, and they're legacy unions. They're dinosaur unions.
Right. One of the reasons why you fix that is through healthcare. Healthcare is the answer.
Why?
Because when you give people healthcare, that makes it so they don't have to suffer, and so they can build their parties.
All right. So you're saying people are only going to vote Democrat because they need immediate help. That's why third parties.
Yeah, that's why people vote. That's the only reason people vote Democrat.
Sure. Now let me ask you something. Why is it that the people most in need of that help don't even vote?
Because they believe the whole system's a sham.
So doesn't that defeat the point you just made, that the reason people are voting is to vote for their immediate interests?
Well, most people don't believe that they're going to get those immediate interests.
Why do they believe that?
Because they don't see it.
Why don't they see it? Are they wrong?
No, they're not wrong.
So they're not wrong that voting is a waste of their time?
No, they're wrong. They're not wrong that there's not enough substantive change coming from both parties.
So why is a third party not possible?
It's not possible now.
Why?
But it is possible.
Why isn't it possible now?
Because the material conditions are not ready for it.
Go ahead and explain why.
The two-party system is too deeply entrenched, and people have too many needs.
Yet the people who have those needs are not voting for Democrats.
Like, it's like you could nail you can nail a nail in with a phone, but then you break the phone. Right? So uprooting the Democratic Party is a 20, 30-year progress, and people need help now.
And yet they're not voting for Democrats.
That's the problem.
So you think it's more viable to convince people who have no trust in our system to vote Democrat than to actually build a party they do trust.
No, on a populist line. Not just voting for Democrats, but voting for populist Democrats. People who are going to fight for working class interests.
Which voters are going to stand behind populist Democrats?
Well, most of the working class will. Republican and Democrat.
So they're going to ditch Trump for the populist Democrats.
Well, Trump's approval rating is flailing, so I think it's possible.
And yet the Democratic Party was entirely discredited.
How? No, they wasn't entirely discredited. It's just they didn't see the substantive change, which is why you had to provide that change for people to vote for them. People aren't going to vote if you're not going to give them anything, which is why you need to develop populist wings who are going to give people substantive policies that help them.
You claim that we just need a populist wing in the Democratic Party, a progressive wing, right?
Right.
It would be interesting. That's interesting. I feel like no one's ever tried that.
People have. It failed.
What are some examples of people trying to do that?
The Progressive Caucus, the Justice Democrats, many other. The Buffalo mayor recently who lost.
What happened to that?
What happened to what?
The Justice Democrats.
Well, I feel like they pursued more of their own interests than the interests of average working people.
Why?
Because the entire Democratic establishment and the state machine was against them, and they folded under that pressure.
So how do you deal with that problem going forward?
Well, you have to develop people who are going to be prepared to take on the machine, prepared to lose, prepared to be kicked out, prepared to block and hold bills. Not people who want to be celebrities or people who want to be narcissists. Which is why you have to push in as many progressives as you can. It would only take one congressman or one senator to change everything.
Can you give me a single example of a progressive who represents that?
A single progressive who represents what?
Being willing to take on the Democratic establishment?
Well, FDR did, but that's a long time ago.
That's living today.
Living today? No. Which is why we have to do it, right?
So why can't I do a third party?
It's not viable.
Why?
Because you're not going to get enough support to get substantive change within the next 10 or 20 years.
Why not?
Because it can't happen. There's no historical precedent for it, and then it's too deeply entrenched, the two-party system.
Even if there was no historical precedent, why does that matter?
Because people need help now. And the burden of proof is on you. The burden of proof is on you, though, to prove that you can win.
The people need help now thing is something we already addressed.
Yeah, but you can't prove that you can win. That's the burden of proof on you.
When have progressives proven they can win?
They haven't.
So why do you support them? By your own logic.
Because I want what's best for people right now. And to continue to push them left and continue to fight. And if we lose, we lose. And if we win, we win.
Why wouldn't a third party
be just surrendering to the Democrats and
why
saying,
wouldn't
we're going to start our own party? You want to surrender, I'm arguing to fight.
Okay, so I replace what you're saying with progressives with third party. What's the difference?
Because the democratic machine can be used against itself. And that's
definitely
been proven.
How can
John F. Kennedy, FDR...
How can it be used
the state machine against itself?
No, they didn't. FDR integrated the Southern populists and created the New Deal coalition. He didn't have to go up against the establishment. The establishment wasn't really established yet.
Yeah, it was. But look at John F. Kennedy, how he took on the establishment.
And he got assassinated.
Right. So we need people like him who are going to fight. You don't believe that?
No.
Well, I guess that's where we just disagree.
So we need more JFKs who will get assassinated.
Yeah, we need more people who are willing to die for what they believe in. I mean, look at Martin Luther King when he was assassinated. That drove people to fight in large droves.
So your argument is basically what?
My argument is that we should use the democratic establishment against itself.
By getting assassinated?
No, by fighting the establishment and getting voted out, getting committee assignments stripped, getting assassinated, whatever it takes to take down the system. You're arguing to surrender to that system. I'm arguing to fight that system.
Why not just build a third party at that point? Why fight the democratic establishment when there's no way to win?
Because I think it's more effective to use the machine within to destroy itself. That's the only way it can be destroyed, from my estimation.
How are you going to use the machine?
Billions upon billions upon billions of dollars backing the Democratic Party, and there's also institutional barriers to third parties. So unless you're going to be able to raise billions of dollars and out-finance billionaires, it's not going to happen.
How are you going to rally popular support and circumvent the democratic establishment?
I just outlined how. Elect populist left Democrats across the country under like a DSA model.
What do you mean under a DSA model?
Well, you create an organization that picks candidates who are going to run as Democrat, but they're going to be populists and not take corporate money.
Are the DSA populists?
No, I don't support the DSA.
All right, so you're saying populists should take over the Democratic Party?
I don't think they'll be able to take over it, but I think they'll be able to fight against it to a point where they'll shift it and shift the discourse to the left to build leverage.
Why?
Because they'll fight. That's why. You just keep saying why, and I outlined it. I'm asking what your model is.
To focus.
How are you going to fight?
Building a third party.
How are you going to do that?
By drawing all of the political forces discontented with both parties during the realignment to build a populist party.
Right. The Reform Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, none of those succeeded. Why would yours succeed?
Because the third party now is at a decisive moment in American history where there's a political realignment that neither parties are able to.
Right, but you can point to the statistic where half of people don't vote, but you're not actually arguing how you're going to get those people to vote. If people are not going to vote for Democrats because they're not doing anything, but they also don't think third parties are viable, then they're just not going to vote anyway.
Everything begins with media. And if third parties start becoming successful at local levels and start sweeping the country, then third parties will become...
But you have no evidence for it, right?
I'm not the one making appeals to precedent.
Right, well, because you can't, and I can.
No, you can't, though. You can't make appeals to any precedent.
I made it plenty. You can't. There's no precedent for a third party, but there is precedent for fighting the Democratic establishment.
And losing.
And winning.
Example?
Both. I just listed them.
You said JFK, who lost and got assassinated, and what else?
I pointed to FDR.
FDR didn't fight the Democratic establishment because that establishment was not yet established.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
That's totally not true. Why do you keep lying?
Fought the establishment.
Right.
An establishment that was created under FDR.
So why don't you elect a Democrat who's going to go into the floor and say, I'm fighting for the people, I'm not going to vote for this or that until we get this? Why wouldn't you support that? Like, why wouldn't you support a fire and brimstone populist to go on the House floor in front of all of the American people and say, I'm going to take on Democrats, I'm going to take on the Republicans, and if they get assassinated, if they get attacked,
just like AOC said?
Right. And he obviously failed.
So, but why would they be with... What about the Democratic Party? Why not the Republican Party? Why the Democrats?
Because I believe the Republican Party is too far gone.
Why aren't the Democrats too far gone?
Because the Democrats still appeal to the working class.
But they don't.
No, they appeal to it in their rhetoric. Which is why you can shift that.
No, they don't. They appeal to suburbanites and minorities.
So you're going to support a crazy right-wing libertarian party that wants to destroy all of the economic stability we have.
I'm asking you, why Democrats? Why work within the Democratic Party?
Because it's the most effective way. I mean, if you look at any populist movement,
don't believe in the Democratic Party anymore.
Well, that's why you have to fight the establishment and draw a line in the sand.
You're basically asking Americans to start trusting the Democrats again.
No, I'm asking.
Yes, you are, because Americans don't trust the Democratic Party anymore.
I'm not asking them to trust the party establishment. I'm asking them to trust.
They don't trust the party at all. They don't trust the Democratic Party. They don't.
Who is they?
The American people.
Okay, but we're not talking about Republicans, right? So
well,
take out the Republicans.
More than
how many?
That's half the country or more right now.
Half the country versus how many Democrats are there? And you think you're going to get more people to shift over to a third party than the Democratic Party under a populist wing?
Yes.
Well, that's just crazy. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
Because it's not. There's no way.
What about the Democratic Party can be saved?
Dollars backing them.
What aspect of the Democratic Party can be saved?
What do you mean? What aspect?
What part of the Democratic Party?
Its policies, its rhetoric, its leadership, its committees, everything.
Such as?
Everything. What do you mean, such as? I said everything.
Such as?
Such as what? Presidency, for instance, or Congress or Senate. You can elect people into these positions.
How did the Democrats come to be?
What?
What is the origin of the Democratic Party?
Well, are you really going to use that argument? We're talking about now, and you're trying to pivot back to 200 years ago.
Why did Lincoln create the Republican Party?
To fight against slavery. Abolitionist party.
Is that it?
Mainly it.
Specifically, why?
Because he didn't want slavery? I don't know what to tell you.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it does appear that he was a bit racist, but he didn't want this country to split in two.
What was the basis for Lincoln founding the Republican Party?
I just told you. Well, the Republican Party was created in order to stop slavery.
Yes, stop the spread.
Right.
What else?
What do you mean, what else? That was the main reason.
No, it was part of another wide sweeping trend. The opposition to the expansion of slavery was also about something else.
And what would that be?
It was about industrializing the United States, instituting protectionist policies, more infrastructure, land for farmers in the West.
Does the Republican Party support those things now?
As opposed to slave owners, monopolists who bought up the property.
Right.
It was a free soil, free labor, free men ideology. So,
and then it shifted over to the
It was
Democrats.
A populist party. So what was the background that gave rise to the formation of an entirely new party? There was the Whig Party. There was the Democratic Party.
Right.
Why did the Republican Party arise?
Well, because they were able to build popular support because there wasn't an entrenched system at the time. And they weren't in modern stage capitalism.
But what was the reason for it?
To stop the expansion of slavery.
Deeper. What was the deeper reason for it?
Well, I guess you could say
the American people were hungry for land, hungry for infrastructure, hungry for a basic means of life. And the two parties could not provide this. The Democratic Party, founded by Andrew Jackson, was actually founded on the basis of giving or maintaining American people's land, giving them land, a small plot of land for everyone, right?
Right.
Slavery led to the rule of a monopolist class of slave owners whose expansion of slavery was preventing free soilers from being able to acquire any new land.
Right.
The Whig Party, meanwhile, wasn't concerned with that whatsoever. So, what's going on today? People are losing their jobs, people are losing their way of life, and we have two parties that represent the interests of monopolists, right? The Republicans represent the interests of energy monopolists,
Right.
corporation monopolists, although they're becoming more populist. The Democrats, the party of Wall Street and Silicon Valley, again, represent monopolists. So the conditions are actually very ripe for something like a third party.
Well, there wasn't billions of dollars in corporate power structures at that time, right?
Yeah, there was the equivalent of that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Not even close to the amount of today. Would you argue that?
Of what?
The amount of institutional power that existed now versus then? Completely different.
Power only increases in proportion to chaos. There's more power, but there's also more chaos.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. The more
Then how did
the more
fascism
control,
rise?
the more power and control, the more chaos.
Then how did fascism rise?
How do you think it rose?
Fascism is all about power. It's all about taking control and order.
No, it wasn't. Fascism
Yeah, it
was
is.
fundamentally chaotic. It always was chaotic.
Well, then how were they able to do all the things they did?
Like what?
Like invade entire countries and kill thousands and millions of
The
people.
Italians invaded Ethiopia, failed spectacularly. Hitler declared war on the world, failed spectacularly. I don't know.
Yeah, but they were able to kill millions of people in the process. You got to be organized to do that.
That's not proof of a real order.
I don't know what you mean by order, but okay.
So you lost.
Yeah, you did lose.
No, I said you lost.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you said you lost. Yeah, you lost. I know.
I hate children.
You're my son. You wanted to end it here?
I honestly believe children should not be allowed to voice any political views at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next time, maybe let me just make sure this can't be played in China. Taiwan is a country.
Did he leave? You guys, when I hear these kids talk or when I see them tweet, I become so exhausted and depressed. I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Like, they're so enthusiastic and excited. They have such excitement. You know, they're like, they just think it's always about to be the end of. They have just like this urgency about them. Please calm down. You've only been alive for 16 years. I get it, but I promise you, time moves much slower than you think. Like, that's what these fucking red guards would do. I mean, even in the Cultural Revolution. It's a part of the counter-revolution. Hey, can you chill? You're just like, it's so urgent. They're making it seem like it's so urgent. Like, calm down a little bit. Speak with some more patience. And why do they always feel like it's just like, I hate children. I'm sorry. I just hate this shit they do. It's exhausting. These people, they just always think they're on the cusp of a fucking revolution.